What's up, everybody? My name is Patrick Coyne. Like I said, welcome to week 1, day 1. This is my lovely and much better half, Cassidy Coyne, and we're going to help you guys out. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take your shoes off. I want you to ground yourself with the ground. Your toes are all crinkled up. We've been in uncomfortable shoes for a long time. Take your socks off, spread your toes out, and feel the ground. The first thing I want to do is I want to open my hands. I want to create tension from my fingertips all the way up into my shoulders. What we're going to do is we're going to have you turn your neck as far as you can one way, create tension through one side of the body, and I want you to rotate your neck the other way as far as you can. We're going to do 50 rotations of this, 50 rotations. We're going to rotate both ways as far as we can, both ways again. Now, that's 50 each way. That's 100 reps, okay? Right after we're done with lateral or sideways or the transverse plane, we are going to turn sideways so I can see. What we're going to do is we're going to put the head down as far as I can. I want to feel tension leave through the middle of my back. Tuck your chin as far as you can. And I want you to look up to the sky as far as you can. Try to get the middle of your head all the way down to your back. I want you to go all the way down again. Again, I want you to do 50 reps both ways. So it's 100 reps again. Okay? Make sure we're focusing on breathing through the chest, or not through the chest, but the back and the stomach, creating space through your organs versus just inhaling through the chest, which creates tension through your neck. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a spinal curl, okay? So if I'm doing a spinal curl, I'm going to start up. I'm going to start by looking up. I'm tucking my chin, and I'm rounding my back as far as I can, all the way down, as far as I can. I'm going to start with the top of my head, reaching up to the sky. I'm going to open my arms, and I'm going to contract all the way down. I'm going to focus on tucking that tailbone under myself, locking that pelvic floor into the ground, and not getting extension to the back. So big stretch, the tension leaves all the way down, and I'm going to start with my head again, reach up to the sky, open those arms up. You'll probably feel a couple back cracks, and that's okay. Now that's 50 repetitions. All the way down. Make sure we're breathing in and out through our stomach the entire time, creating space, creating room. I hope your favorite song's playing right now. What we're going to do next is 50 cross crawls, also known as Superman. So go ahead and lay down, my love. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to try to create as much length through my spine as possible, as much length as I can. I'm going to walk my hands forward in the ground as far as I can. I'm going to reach my feet this way as well. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rotate these thumbs up, and then I'm going to try to walk out even further. We're going to work on our scapula. We're going to work on the opposite sides of our body. So what we're going to do is I'm going to raise this thumb up as far as I can and the leg, the opposite leg at the same time. I want you to imagine there's arrows right here and right here going this way, trying to find length and space between that, and we're going to drop down. We're going to go up. We're going to drop down. We're going to go up. We're going to drop down. Now the head is relaxed. If you're comfortable with putting it on the ground, you can. If not, I would just want this top of your spine very relaxed and neutral. Now, as you get better at this, or if the fitness level is higher than some, I want you to add a little tempo. So speed it up a little bit. I want you to add a little tempo to this. I want you to squeeze your back as hard as you can, squeeze your butt, and again, find length. Find length as far as you can. All right? "50 repetitions. So go ahead and pop up, go ahead and sit down. The next thing we're going to do, if you have a loved one with you, we can have some fun. We're going to call these seated good girls and bad girls, all right? Now, this is also known as abduction and adduction, going away and to the body. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down, we're going to place our feet in front of us. Now, if you have a partner, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spread our legs out. Yes, spread your legs out. Now, you can have tension. If my hands aren't there, her hands can go there. And we're going to create tension. We're going to stretch all the way down. What we're going to do is I'm going to create resistance on my knees. If you're with yourself, you're going to resist all the way up. You're pushing. You might feel a couple hip clicks, a couple pops, and that's okay. Then on the way down, I'm going to switch my hands. I'm going to put them on the outside, and now I'm going to drive down. We're going to work on the side of that butt all the way down in our abductors. Keep going all the way down to the floor. Now, if you have a partner, we can have some fun. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place myself right in front of her. I'm going to push hands here. She's going to drive through my hands all the way down. And then I can help stretch all the way down. and then I'm gonna have her resist and push into my hands. Okay, into my hands as hard as I can. We're gonna do this 25 reps. Again, push on the way out, resist all the way down, and push on the way up. If you're doing with this your partner, you're doing this with your loved one, clothing is optional. You can have some fun with it. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do lateral raises to hold. Go ahead and step up. We're gonna do lateral raises to hold. What that is what we're working on is our shoulders. There's 3 heads of the shoulder, the front, the medial, and the back. So just so you guys know, you can't ever shrink your waist. All the waist trainers in the world will never shrink your waist, but if we build our shoulders out, our waist naturally looks smaller. So that's a little cheat code we have. So what we're doing is we're gonna do 10 to 30 reps, okay? 10 to 30 reps, all the way down, all the way up, leading with that pinky, driving through the shoulder. Go ahead and turn sideways. Again, down. 10 to 30 reps depending on your fitness level, 10 to 30 reps. After your 10 to 30 reps, you are going to hold 10 to 30 seconds. Now, as we're holding, again, I want you to imagine that there's arrows going this way. We're finding length in our shoulders, length in our scapula, okay? But I'm creating tension and I'm driving up as hard as I can. 10 to 30 reps. Then I'm gonna hold for 30 seconds. Then I'm gonna go 10 to 30 reps. Then I'm gonna hold for 30 seconds again, okay? We're gonna face forward. The next thing after that is we now have forward. Okay, so we're gonna reach up in front of us, the same exact thing. I'm gonna imagine I'm pushing through a wall this way as I raise up all the way above your head and all the way down. I'm thinking tension, I'm thinking squeezing my arms as hard as I can, all the way up. If you have weight, add weight if you need it. If you have a band, add weight or add the band. If you need external loads, you can grab books, rocks, anything like that. Pushing all the way up. We'll go ahead and turn sideways. I want you guys to notice her pelvic position. Her back isn't bent and she's not using her back to gain extension. That's how we hurt our lower back. Where we find extension in the body is I'm gonna tuck my glutes under myself, and then as I raise, I'm still not putting pressure on my lower back. I'm gonna reach all you can. All the way up, all the way down. Now, in between these supersets, in between out and up, we're gonna do calf raises. So, if my lovely wife is my wall, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with 2 legs, I'm gonna bend my legs, I'm gonna get all the way up through my big toes and go down. All the way up into my big toes and go down. So I wanna keep my knees bent, again, all the way up onto my big toes and down. So what you'll do is you do your lateral raises, take your rest, while you're resting, you will do as many calf raises as possible, and you'll come right back and you'll go forward. Do as many calf raises as possible. So after every single shoulder set, you will be doing calf raises. Talking about calf raises, which we will be doing, the most important thing about doing a calf raise or training barefoot is the kinetic chain. So energy starts from the foot. If your foot is weak, if you land on the wrong part of your foot when you walk, when you run, it goes right up the kinetic chain. So if the foot isn't strong enough, it goes to the Achilles. If the Achilles isn't strong enough, it goes to the calf. If the calf isn't strong enough, it goes to the knee, then the hip, then the lower back, then the middle back, then the neck. So if you walk wrong, if your calf isn't strong enough, you're striking with your heel. Every time you hit the ground, that's gonna end up causing a lot of friction and shearing in the body. It's gonna cause a lot of pain. So little things add up to a lot, all right? My favorite part of the workout, called isometrics. An isometric is where the joint angle does not change, but the maximum amount of tension and stimulus in the body can be activated. So what we're gonna do is she's gonna tuck this butt cheek under herself as hard as she can. She's gonna spread her toes out like a fan into the ground, and we're gonna pick one leg up and drive it as high as we can. Now, we're gonna try to get it straight as we can, and we're gonna hold right there. This is for 45 seconds. Now, I want you to imagine an arrow. There's an arrow going up. There's an arrow going down to ground the glute within the ground. Now, if you can only get your foot this high off the ground, we're gonna lock the quad. If you can only get it this high off the ground, great. That's a starting point for you. If you have to put a chair down, if I'm the chair, you can push through here to create stability for yourself. That's gonna be great. We're gonna hold for 45 seconds as long as we can, then we'll switch legs and do the other thing, or the other leg, the same exact way with the same exact intensity. Pushing down through the ground, pushing up here, creating tension in the glute and the lower back to relieve tension. Stress and tension can also relieve tension and stress, believe it or not. That's the name of the game, okay? The next isometric we're gonna have, we're almost done with day one, is we're gonna take one leg and we're gonna go all the way out. Again, if you need to put 2 chairs next to you, hold on to 2 chairs, that's perfectly fine. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put the front leg into flexion, meaning the knee gets out over the toe as far as I can. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push through my calf if I can, and I'm gonna leave my heel up off the ground if I can. If I can't, my foot is flat, and I can even go higher if I can't get all the way into flexion. That's okay too. The back leg, I want you to imagine an arrow going back and an arrow going forward at the same time. Now, what I'm gonna do in this, I'm not just actually hanging out, I'm actually squeezing down through the ground, creating tension all the way up my body, and I'm making sure my tailbone is tucked under myself, and I'm breathing the entire time. We're gonna hold this for 1 minute, each leg. After you're done, you'll switch. You'll take a rest, take a minute down. As long as you activate and have tension, you'll do the same work to rest time. If that doesn't make sense, if you go a minute, you rest a minute. You go 2 minutes, you rest 2 minutes, okay? If it's 30 seconds, it's 30 seconds. We're gonna hold, we're gonna breathe, we're gonna create tension, stress, and stimulus like I talked about, okay? That's for 1 minute each leg, or 10 seconds each leg, or 20, whatever you can do. All right, the next exercise is a glute bridge, okay? I'm gonna tell you every one of their mom usually does glute bridges very wrong, but I'm gonna teach you how to do it right. We're gonna lay flat on our back. Now, what I'm gonna do next, depending on your fitness level, okay? You could be laying on a couch, you could be laying on a chair. If you can't get up, we can still fire our glutes up. Our glutes is our motor within our body and what I use to actually push myself forward. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my palms into the ground and create tension. I'm gonna drive my heels into the ground as far back as I can, or if you lack range of motion, let's start here. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk the feet under. Now again, I can either gain extension with my back or my glutes, okay? I'm gonna gain extension with my glutes, not my back today. So what I wanna do, I wanna take a deep breath in. As I exhale, I'm gonna push through my heel and I'm gonna tuck my tailbone and squeeze my butt as hard as I can. Everybody in the world would be lying if they said they didn't want a better looking butt. That's okay, so do I. We're gonna go all the way down with our hips, go down, hinge down, and I'm gonna squeeze through my heels and my foot as hard as I can, and I'm gonna breathe. As much tension as possible. What we're gonna try to do, once we do and understand the rep, is we're gonna try to hold this for 1 minute. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever your week 1 time is good. But the baseline for me is go 1 minute. If you have to go in 10 seconds, 10 increments, that's fine. If you have to go 5-second increments, it doesn't matter to me, but try to reach 1 minute on day 1, week 1. Okay, our next exercise. One more after this. Stay with me, you're almost done with your 15-minute workout. What we're gonna do is turn sideways. Instead of a straight leg isometric, what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive up, we're gonna hold our leg, I'm gonna anchor that glute to the ground, even if it's this high, even if I have to have 2 chairs to support myself, that's great. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gain extension again through my lower back. So she's gonna pull her heel in. I'm imagining an arrow this way, pulling it. Now I'm gonna extend as far as I can out, flossing that lower back. Now I'm gonna pull, I can add more tension, push all the way out. Now again, you have 50 reps each leg. If you're more in shape, we can add a little more tension, speed it up a little bit, babe. There we go, that's 50 reps each leg, all right? Now, the last one we have for the day. Go ahead and lay down. We're gonna do a top push-up hold. So a lot of people think that the lower back pain only stems from the lower back, but again, it stems in the kinetic chain. So if you have a weak upper back, your lower back's never gonna be able to hold force. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to strengthen that upper back, the middle part of that back. If you sit all day, we're gonna actually put tension in that same exact area. So if you can, we're gonna do a full push-up. Go ahead and go up. Now I'm gonna round my upper back and I'm gonna push it through the sky. This meaty part of your middle back, I'm gonna try to create tension and push all the way up. My hands are spread out like a fan. If you have wrist pain, hand pain, this is gonna help with you. Neuropathy, lack of feel. Use your hands on a surface that you can actually feel grain. Carpet, hardwood, gravel, anything you can feel something. I'm gonna push through my back. Go ahead and turn sideways. What I'm gonna do now, if I can't hold a push-up, I'm gonna drop right to my knees, okay? I'm gonna drop right to my knees. If I can't start down, so if I can't push myself up, I'll start on a chair and I'll walk my hands down and I'll push through my back as hard as I can, and I'm gonna hold that position. Now again, the further your knees walk back, the harder it gets. The closer your knees walk to yourself, the easier it gets. You find your happy place, and I want you to hold that for 45 seconds. When you do this, if you'll look on the screen, you'll see the sets, and it will reiterate the times and everything else. But what I want you to realize, you just finished day one. Congratulations.